well, same thing. Out to 300 yards. Hit. I could tell from the kick. Oh man.
Smile.
Here we go. I have no idea. You know what? I don't know. I'm not going to say anything until I get out there. Alright, welcome back to Six Arrows. A little bit of a deviation from the videos that I've done in the past here. I'm out here in New Mexico with my sister Sarah and my brother-in-law Zane. And Zane drew an elk tag this year, so I will let him tell you a little bit of the story of kind of how he went about getting interested in that, applying for the tag and so on, and then we'll go from there. So
yeah, so we moved to New Mexico about a year ago, and in March the deadline was coming up for applying for a draw hunt for elk, and everybody out here archery elk hunts. So I'm not a hunter, I've never hunted before, but figured it was a once in a lifetime kind of thing because we're only here temporarily as a resident. It's way cheaper as a resident. And so the draw process was pretty easy. I bought the non-refundable hunting license, and some coworkers told me which units and dates to apply for, because that was the most complicated thing, was figuring out what you wanted to do. So we chose Unit 49, which is pretty popular, to the southeast of Taos in Carson National Forest, and a firearm hunt, because I'm not an archer, I'm a target shooter, for probably my whole life. And so the March deadline came. About a month later, we got the emails that said I had won. The stats are out there, but it was probably around 10, maybe a little higher % chance of getting it. And out of the 20 people that I know applied, none of them got a tag, archery or firearm. And so I was really excited. So Sarah and I started going to Carson National Forest, driving down the forest roads and hiking. About once a week or every other week. And we saw lots of sign throughout the summer. We would see footprints and scat, but never a single animal the entire time we were there.
Yeah.
We saw a doe mule deer once as we were driving down the forest road. Yeah. But that's all we've seen for the last 6 months of scouting.
And I think the last time you were there scouting was during archery season. Is that right?
Yeah. So we drove down Forest Road 437, wondering where all the hunters were, because I knew this was in the middle of archery season, according to the book.
Yeah.
And I was like, where are these, 60, 70 other people at? Sarah, like, where are they? So we drove all the way up to a 10,000-foot peak in Garcia.
Before that, we ate lunch and heard them.
Heard them?
We were cooking lunch and we heard a car door close up a hill that we didn't know there was a trail behind it. And I was like, Zane, I heard someone say, there's people down there or something like that. And we climbed the hill after we ate lunch and found there was a trail and saw some Polarises drive down it with hunters. And
lots of undeveloped trails that they're like
unmarked.
Not unmarked, but they did show up as dashed lines on X.
Okay, all right. So you found all the people.
So we drove up to this 10,000-foot peak, and there in Garcia Park, it opened up in a meadow full of campers.
Okay.
I don't know how they got there.
RVs of all types and sizes.
Because
campers.
The roads were so rocky, our two-wheel drive pickup could barely make it.
We almost turned around. Before we got there.
But there they were, napping in the middle of the day, which partially explains why we haven't seen anything yet, because we were always tromping around the woods in the middle of the day.
Yeah. So that's one thing that a lot of people have. If you watch videos, they say morning and evening, and I don't know. We're gonna try some midday stuff too, but we'll see. I have some hypotheses, but we'll see. So,
and I should say, so we got a cow, so antlerless elk hunt, Unit 49, for the very last it could possibly be, starting November 14th for 5 days.
Yeah.
And firearm.
Yeah. Okay. So that gets us up to speed there. Today is the 13th, the day before, and tell us a little bit about what we saw tonight when we went out there.
So my coworker had told me about getting an elk in a meadow somewhere in Unit 49 in the upper right corner of the unit. And so scouring satellite images, there's only one meadow really. What is it called? Bull Spring?
Bull Spring.
Yeah, so we hiked down Elliott Barker Trail. Had a false start at first because we drove down a road and then it ended in a gate. Not even a gate, just a sign that said no trespassing.
Yeah. Trying to take a shortcut.
Yeah, so we were trying to approach it from the south. Didn't work. So we went all the way back around to the north, Elliott Barker Trailhead. And
yeah, so it was about what 2.75 mile hike from the truck up to the meadow. Me being an eastern hunter, the first time I saw the elk tracks, I was giddy. I'd never seen tracks that big in the woods before. So, obviously something's there. And as we kept going along, we'd see mule deer scat, mule deer prints. 2 different times on the trail, we bumped groups of three mule deer does or yearlings.
rolling the video now.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. You see it? Yeah, I got it. That was interesting. They were within bow range for me, so I was a little bit surprised that they were not more timid than they were. But I don't know. That was very cool to see. So between seeing the prints, the elk prints, seeing the mule deer themselves, at least my confidence is going up. I think yours was too a little bit.
Oh yeah. I was so excited that we saw the first 3 deer, and I'm like, Seth, this is the first. This is 3 times as many deer as I've seen in the last 6 months cumulatively.
Yeah. So it's getting towards dark. Sundown is about 4:48, I think, something like
around
that.
5.
Yeah. And we got up to the meadow right about 5:15. So within that half hour after sundown, and we're walking a little bit along the edge of the meadow. It's kind of twilight, and Zane says, there's an elk, and there were 2 of them there. There was a cow and a yearling.
I said, is that an elk?
Yes.
Because it was a dark blob in the meadow in a dark background.
This is true. So I looked over there and I could see like the perfect silhouette with that neck and head with those huge ears coming off of it, and I was like, yep, that's an elk, and there's another one right behind it.
I didn't see the second one at first, but it was her cow right behind her.
Yeah, yeah. So that got me very excited, obviously.
Her calf.
Yeah, yeah. That got me very excited. So we kind of backed out as quickly as we could, and they kind of trotted off a little bit, but the wind was coming right over the top of that meadow real hard, so there was no way they smelled us. They definitely saw us, but we were kind of in the shadows of the trees, and I would be pretty surprised if they knew what we were. They knew there was something there that they didn't like, but they didn't go tearing off. So we got out of there, and yeah, that's we're all kind of keyed up to go after them again for real tomorrow.
Very optimistic now.
Yeah, maybe a little too optimistic now.
It's a 50-50 chance, either we will or we won't.
Yes, that's is true. So Zane has the tag, which means I will be carrying this camera around and capturing as much as I can, and hopefully we get some interesting stuff to show you. But just wanted to kick it off, give you a little bit of the background of how this happened, We are 3 very inexperienced elk hunters, and we'll show you everything that happens and all the mistakes we make and if we have anything exciting happen. Anything else?
Sounds good.
All right.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned. We'll see what's next.